Hi, I'm Annie Turnbaugh, and I'm here today to speak to you about the issue of inefficiencies due to excessive meetings. Meetings are essential to any workplace. They're a must, a necessity, a collaboration of minds, a means to brainstorm, a networking tool, a sales aid. In short, they're fundamental to any business dynamic. There's no argument that a face-to-face meeting, an exchange of smiles, a firm handshake will ensure a potential sales pitch a higher probability of becoming a lucrative venture. But in the daily inner workings of a business dynamic, is it still the best vehicle for productivity? Do we hold meetings merely because they're the customary thing to do? In the following, I'll discuss when meetings are necessary, how to make the most of them, and make them the most productive they can be, and finally, when to utilize alternative means of communication. So let's talk a little bit about why meetings aren't working. Excessive meetings rob employees of time spent accomplishing the very tasks they're assigned at those respective meetings. Some positions require creative thinking and innovative thought processes. Organizations that place a heavy emphasis on regular meetings and spin-off meetings tend to rob the thought process from those employees. Then there's the generational impacts to consider. While traditionalists and baby boomer generations seem to prefer the face-to-face meetings, the Generation Y and beyond tend to favor more tech-savvy means of communication. And considering that the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics found that the population of 18 and under is increasing with every year, it's important that we learn to adjust with the times to keep the younger generation engaged, thereby ensuring greater productivity in the workplace. Another consideration are the fiscal ramifications of hosting in-person meetings. For instance, the travel costs associated with meetings are increasing year by year, and just taking into consideration the average cost of holding a typical meeting is something definitely to consider. A typical 1-hour meeting with 10 people in attendance is essentially a 10-hour meeting. Fiscal impacts of the fully burdened labor rates of those employees holding at that meeting, coupled with the time spent at that meeting, could equal thousands of dollars wasted if the end product from those meetings don't equate to the amount spent. So when is a meeting essential? In the article entitled, "When is it necessary to call a meeting?" it provides 5 points to consider. Does your issue require collaboration or consensus? Is it a long or important project that requires planning from team members? Is it an important client? Are there issues cropping up or require further clarification? Or is it an emergency? If the answer is no, or if it's merely to share information, then it's time to consider alternative means of communicating as opposed to holding a meeting. If the answer is yes, then it's important to maximize your meeting to its fullest effect. Tips to consider. Take control of your meeting. Nothing derails a meeting more than when someone utilizes more time than is allotted to them. Avoid large groups. Empirical research shows that smaller groups of 5 to 7 are more effective at decision making. Keep the meetings to an hour and no longer than 90 minutes. Send out an agenda or background material so your audience can come prepared. And finally, do not rely heavily on PowerPoint presentations that are read word for word on every slide. This loses the audience's attention. Now, if it's determined that your organization must have regular meetings, then some tips on controlling the excessive nature of them and maximize your employees' work time would be to choose a Meeting Monday concept, wherein all meetings are held on Monday, and thereby it allows the employees to have the remainder of the week to work on the tasking given at those meetings and for projects they might already have in the queue. Or block out a day of the week that no meetings can be allowed, or any communication for that matter. This affords employees uninterrupted blocks of time for flow of thought, innovative thinking, and overall productivity. So now that we've covered when a meeting is important and how to make the most of those meetings, let's take a look at the alternatives available to us when we make the decision that a meeting is not necessary. Alternative communication tools are essential to utilize whenever possible, as they cut down on travel costs, they allow multitasking, and they make meetings and communications with employees that are physically challenged more accessible. Some of these alternative communication tools would be the use of collaboration tools such as wikis, blogs, message boards, and SharePoint. These are living documents that employees can manipulate, add to, and exchange information with one another. Utilization of technology with videos such as FaceTime, Skype, video conferencing, and webinars. This allows that face-to-face dynamic while also allowing people the ability to multitask in their offices or their desks, affording them the opportunity to maximize the work that they can get done. Utilizing the use of non-video based technologies such as podcasts, instant messenger, or email. And then finally, utilizing the traditional methods such as telephone and fax. With all that said, there's no question meetings are essential. If utilized properly, it's an effective and efficient tool to communicate with an organization and between colleagues. Maximizing, though, the meetings that you do have and utilizing alternative methods of communication will ensure that your organization is running efficiently and effectively as possible. Therefore, before making the decision to host the next meeting, consider all the information I've shared with you today and see if there might not just be a better way to maximize your communication. Good luck!